Newbee.Young, of course, just one game away from securing a place against LGD in the final game of Group C.
First pick and dire for Newbee.Young.
Yeah, we talked about C9 having pretty static picks consistently, and at first we said, why are they target banning Cloud9 so much? It's because they've seen their strats and they look static compared to other teams. That's why they're target banning them like this.
Now it's going to be up to C9 to do something different. If Newbee.Young won last game, there's no reason to change it up unless C9 do.
Do they play more towards the average meta that everybody else is doing here? Maybe even though things aren't completely consistent, you know, there's still a good 15 heroes that are banned and picked in every game, more or less.
I mean, they can just draft less greedy. If their greed is like an 8, they can dial it down to like a 5 and then draft a little bit more team fight.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you could still pick an Ember or TA, but maybe don't pick both of them together, or pick an off-laner that's a little bit... It can get involved earlier than a Nyx, for example, like, say, a Tusk. I mean, they did have the Tusk last game, but he was in the support role.
Kind of missing Tidehunter right now. Random thought there. But when's the last time you saw Ravage?
We saw one Tide versus the Tiny.
Tide yesterday.
I missed it. I saw a Tide ban. That was almost as good. Very close.
Did you get enjoyment out of that, Kevin?
Like,
He celebrated it.
This is so nice. I'm really enjoying this game.
Watermelon Man makes his return.
Because he just really hates watermelon.
You know, let's be real though. There's a lot of Slardars, and with that one cosmetic item, you do see a lot of tentacles whenever he stuns. So
it's almost as good.
It's a mini Ravage.
Really they've given away Doom. They get a pretty decent reply. But they gave away Doom.
Wow, and they gave away Winter Wyvern as well.
It's not the worst support to be up against if you're Shadow Fiend, especially early game at Double Raise. Easily will kill somebody that's Cold Embrace. So I think it looks all right here for Cloud9.
But both those heroes are really good for Shadow Fiend.
And that as well, yeah.
So
good luck getting a Requiem off this game is probably the biggest issue right now for the SF. So you're up against Doom, you're up against Wyvern, you gotta pick another core. They can't run like a one carry lineup. That's pretty obvious. They already have the Tusk, normally a support for them. Still curious what Brax is gonna play. The Beastmaster already banned out.
5 seconds remaining.
What are other... Darkseer's been the other really big hero for Brax, but it is already banned, unfortunately.
It's not a TA game, that's for sure.
Tusk
not against Winter Wyvern.
And Tusk continues the 100% pick ban, by the way. Still the only one.
Oh, that's interesting. Brood got ignored last game, right? Did she get banned?
Yep.
She got ignored, I think.
I feel that's at least partially because Tusk can play so many roles very easily, both support and offlane.
It's actually C9 who banned the AA. That's been one of their most successful heroes. But you can see that it seems like they are picking towards a bit of a stronger early game here with the SF who can take team fights a lot more than like a TA as we were discussing.
Yeah, with the Shadow Fiend, I feel like you do more of a sieging draft basically. Yeah. So by banning the AA, they protect their Dazzle essentially.
That's true.
I still think it would have been good versus Newbee.Young though, and how they group up a lot and push towers down and always have a lot of sustain.
And you're up against Doom. It's really good against the Scorched Earth.
Yeah, but it's
decent against Cold Embrace.
It's more of a burst ability than it is a deny healing ability. In most cases where AA does really well right now, it's all like, there's a guy, stun him, burst him, dead. So yeah, it's good for the denying of the healing, but I think he's definitely more of a burst hero.
I mean, I just keep on feeling like Newbee.Young, in terms of the way they draft, is just so reminiscent of C-Deck.
Yeah.
They love the aggressive early fighting carries. They love supports that have a strong laning presence. They don't... This draft does scale in the late game pretty well, but they don't pick carries that only do well late. They pick ones that can also get active very early on.
What about Razor for Cloud9? Good versus Doom, decent versus Gyro.
They definitely need another carry, so yeah, Razor could work.
I think I'm trying to think of other ones like Wind Ranger.
It's not a hero they run though.
They picked it occasionally.
It's not that good against.
They ran one Razor in their last 10 games, so you're right, they do. Wind Ranger's been another big hero for C9, but not something we've seen lately.
It's not the best versus Doom. It's okay versus Winter Wyvern. Good against Gyro, but
it's always that Alk. Alk is like the exact opposite of what I think you want against Newbee. But it has been bread and butter for them a lot.
They're missing some burst damage right now. Something like that would be good. Maybe even something like Alina, honestly.
Yeah, good versus the Cold Embrace. Good against BKB carries as well if she gets the farm.
It's bad if she gets doomed, obviously, but she's good against the other heroes on Newbee.Young.
Oh, that's a little risky.
Okay, so I guess they're going for a push trap, basically. They can fish with Tusk, but they can cover the Shadow Fiend with Dazzle, and Shadow Shaman can drop wards, so they can get some early advantage there.
Shadow Shaman's actually been seemingly pretty successful this tournament.
So there was, what, 2 games?
I think at least 2 games.
Fear lost the one, but it did a lot of work, and then
Secret picked him.
Secret picked it. And they won that, right?
Yeah. But Highlight I got a lot of kills in the early game or something like that, because he was quite accelerated. He essentially was like a level behind a Batrider. He's like, I'll take this tower and I'll zone the Batrider while I do it by myself.
Yeah, it's had 2 picks, 1 win.
Reserve time.
Yeah. It's good. It's pretty good at zoning, good at pushing.
The nuke does a lot of damage. If it's a solo offlaner, he's one of the better zoning supports, actually.
Cold Embrace, easy ward trap.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Except he'll just...
If you want to commit the wards.
Yeah.
It also has nice synergy with the minus armor from Dazzle and Shadow Fiend, one of the few supports that can offer a lot of physical damage.
So what do Newbee.Young look for here? They had a lot of success with the Shaker last game. It's a bit on the defensive side.
I think it's okay. It can't kill wards is one issue, I guess, but it's, stops Shadow Shaman, Dazzle from ranged.
They don't have a great way to start the fight right now. That's the one thing I feel like Newbie's really lacking. They have good damage, they've got good team fight, they can BKB pierce.
One thing is, we have no idea where they're going to run the Doom. They've banned Doom in every single one of their games thus far.
And they could run it almost anywhere, even at this point. Do you think they want to try to go aggressive on the Shaman and pressure him early?
No, I don't think Shaman's that weak right now. A lot of people are playing him fairly strong, like as an aggressive hero. They're not saying, oh, I'm little Shaman, I'm going to shackle level 1. They run in, they right-click, they zap him like 4 times, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, Shaman.
And they buy boots first, too.
Yeah, a lot of boots to make up for the movements.
You don't really have a good hero. You need, like... I guess Gyro is pretty strong, but you're missing like Tusk or
they also banned Jug and Undying, so those are some of like the stronger laning presences out of the picture.
Newbee.Young has so much anti-BKB though, like it's actually ridiculous.
They have to get a second carry. What is I guess it's the Ritsu hero, right?
Well,
anti-mage?
Ember's still in the pool. Will it be?
So they want to risk it with the anti-mage? What else does Ritsu play? Ember.
If Doom wasn't there, I'd say Ember is great.
Agreed.
But they haven't picked their last hero yet. They're probably going to get more catch because they don't. I still don't feel like they have a way to start the fight.
That's a good catch.
Yeah.
Doom doesn't want to ever buy BKB, so you can pretty reliably Searing Chains him.
Oh, no, I'm saying for Newbee.Young. Like,
okay.
I guess you can Shadow Blade in or try to Blink Doom, but that cast that. It's like he does like a little dance. He spins around a few times. It's like, okay, now you're doomed.
I got nerfed. Sorry.
Not enough, apparently.
No, he just got overbuffed. That's all. Scorched Earth buff. I was like, what the hell are you thinking, Ice Frog?
It's funny how that like the most recent changes had no impact on his pick ban rate, though.
Really?
He's still first banned or picked pretty much every game.
That didn't happen at yesterday though. Yesterday he wasn't picked that much.
He was banned a lot.
Just banned.
Yeah, he's
him and the Slardar seem like the
91% picked and banned right now.
Jeez.
Maybe it dropped a couple percentage points.
Yeah, he's like 3rd or 4th on the pick ban.
All right, Ritsu heroes.
Not looking at that many left. Venno,
Slark, he's
Razor,
played.
Alk.
He's played a little Slark.
Razor.
It's a Razor.
Slark's bad.
That was your original pick.
I like Razor. He's decent.
He's good for all the reasons Ben mentioned earlier. Pretty good against Gyro. Bad Doom target in general.
Lena doesn't want to cast on him ever.
Builds tanky, so he's not easily burst down. And it's a second carry. Also strong laning presence. They just didn't have many options at that point. The thing that I worry about though is it's not like a Ritsu hero. He generally plays those very like split pushy, late game oriented.
But we said that's probably not the way they want to go though, so I like it.
He'll be outside of his comfort zone though.
And the final one is an Earthshaker added to Newbee.Young as they go in search for game number 2 and a place in the final game of Group C. Let's head back to the commentary team for game 2.
Thank you very much, Red. Yes, we are back for game number 2. Cloud9 up against Newbee.Young. Newbee.Young dabbling with the devil as they've managed to get the big hero, the Doombringer, Lucifer himself, into the game. It's not very often we get to see this guy, but some teams, they like to They play with fire.
Yeah, the interesting thing with the Doom pick in this game is that Cloud9 let it through and didn't counterpick it, I feel. They
Well,
didn't
they actually counter-banned themselves.
They banned AA, which is one of the good counterpicks to it, and I guess to an extent, Razor can be good against Doom, but it doesn't... I feel like he's more going to be countering the gyro. And also, what was the really great trade they got? They traded, what was it, Doom for Shadow Fiend Tusk?
Yeah.
It's not that bad, I guess, but at the same time, there were so many other good heroes in the pool that Newb.Y are happy to take that trade. We'll see.
Newbie
It's at
should
least
still be
very-
feeling so good, man.
It's at least very different from the last game for Cloud9, where this time around they are actually the team that can make the aggressive tower pushing plays with the Shadow Fiend, the Razor, and the Shadow Shaman. And Newbee.Young, yes, they have great team fight, but they don't knock down towers with this lineup very well. So
Yeah.
if Cloud9 this time around can keep their towers and play a similar early game to last time, I have higher hopes for them with this draft than the previous one.
I would agree with you, but at the same time, it's very difficult to say that a team with the Doombringer is going to have trouble. Like, if you can get a Pack Wolf Aura up, Newbie's team fight damage is going to go through the roof. This Gyrocopter is going to have extra help, and the control factors of Newb.Y are really good. We already saw the effect of MR during the last game with his Earthshaker. Purge was saying like almost every Fissure was hitting 2 players. His Echo Slam timing, that fight around the Roche Pit, that huge Echo Slam really just won them the fight. This is where I get worried about C9, but they do have the SF. He's on the Radiant side. It's the easy farm time. Brax to play the more stable kind of player of the Razor. They have a more unusual pickup, which is the Shadow Shaman. The early boots not going aggressive on the top lane. Tuskar still up there. They're looking instead to try and gank up the mid, but
He could have killed the courier. He gave up.
He could have.
I thought he was making a really good play there, and he was like, not happening. And it was happening. It should have just kept going. Well, when he watches the replay, that's going to frustrate him. He's going to be like, God, why didn't I just follow through? But that's basically 1,000 gold and some annoyance he missed out on for Lina there. Who instead just sent out a salve.
so Newbie.Y sacking this Doombringer a little bit. Like, they just run him on the off lane up against the Razor. Is this the play, considering you're going to still be giving a lot of damage over to Razor? Doombringer not really the greatest for escaping their static link. Mid? Ritsu? Actually, a different build from SCC. We went for the Fiery Salt over going the Line Strike Array, so the Fissure's not really a setup for him.
I think this is a pretty common build when you're playing the one-on-one matchup and not expecting a rotation. But if this was a plan from the beginning to get...
Shackles, bottom lane. Real trouble right now, but do they have enough damage with just the 2 supports? It looks pretty damn close. The Doombringer, the boots.
He's gone.
He's able to get away, but that Ether Shock, he didn't go for it. He went to Shackles instead. So the damage is not available.
But yeah, this Doom is getting sacked pretty hard. I'm not sure what made Newbee.Young decide to do it this way around. I think they could have dual offlaned the Wyvern together with this Doom and just played Gyro Shaker safe, and it would have been just fine against this Tusk. Oh, they're going to catch him this time. Good fissure.
Actually, yeah, they got locked in. There's no way out of this one.
I think he's going to survive, though.
He's trapped at the moment, but Ellie's right behind him with a haste rune on the back of that Earthshaker.
Oh, yes, haste.
Survival.
Never mind.
Yeah, no, he's got movement speed, man. They only just spawned up as the 2-minute. That's what they're battling for. And the fissure off cooldown. This will be a solo first blood to MR. The South trying to buy more time. In fact, does so he can TP himself out. 1437 Shallow Grave denying the first blood to Newbie.Y.
That was actually a really unpredictable chain of events that he was going to get out of that. Nice play by 1437 with the rotation there to keep him alive.
That salve bought him that second he needed.
Yeah. Razor putting some pressure bottom again.
It's pretty deep.
And now the thing that concerns me about this for Newbee.Young is that when I saw the Doom pick and I started envisioning the lanes, I was like, this Doom can actually get quite a bit in this bottom, but they're sacrificing him way harder than I think they should, since Shaker Gyro top will dominate a Tusk. He can't go in on that. Mid lane, Lina versus SF is a favorable matchup. If Dazzle becomes too big of a problem, you can quickly rotate in the Shaker and you don't concede too much of the top lane. This bottom, like, Doom is really getting the shaft here.
Yeah. But he is finding levels and he is going to find money just because of Devour. And with the regeneration, okay, well, this is not... That is not the play. Has to trigger the Scorched Earth. But this is probably the main reason they're doing it. He's still looking at in a way, not an even trade.
He dies now.
Okay, he's dead. That's first spot to Brax. Yeah. He was still getting more than the Tuskar was getting in the off lane. Now, he's given so much to Brax. And SC even trying to take something from Ritsu here, but not while 1437 standing guard.
This is a very, very good super early game, I feel, for Cloud9. Like, they're accomplishing what they need to. Even if the graphs are... They got the first blood and they're still slightly behind on Golden XP, but just shutting down the Doom is really key here. And yes, he's got Tranquil Boots minute 4, and that's all nice, but can he transition into a threat in the mid game? Since one thing that Doom struggles to deal with is the main thing we look at is shutting down his healing with A, for example, is great. But hard-hitting single-target physical damage dealers are also an issue for Doom. He has 0 base armor, and yes, Tranquils give him 4, but it's not enough. So then he has to itemize for it. And then his health pool also isn't... He's not that big of a threat for Shadow Fiend and Razor.
Yeah. And the SF, like, you could say it's an even, like, they bring back the Gramps a little bit, but that SF's about to farm up a couple of stacks. Already on bottom lane.
Scorched Earth again.
Yep. Lee just understands the fact that he's going to get attacked, so he has to preemptively trigger Scorched Earth so he can outrun the Razor. But it's such a defensive mindset you do every time. This tier 1 tower will drop. Looks like Snowball going after SC in the mid. Doesn't get the perfect position on the iceberg wall. And they drop down 2 sentries here in the mid again. There's 3 sentry wards covering across this mid lane, and every single one of them missed the Dire Observe ward, and now they even lose the Dazzle to a long-range slave. This sentry ward commitment is actually kind of hilarious.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I must still be wondering where Newb.Y is getting their vision from. But putting this up now 1-1, you give momentum to SC. We saw what he did on a Queen of Pain earlier today. That was brutal, to say the least. What he can do on Alina is a question mark.
And Gyro's still topping the farm charts as well. He has a very easy lane. Tusk is an opponent who can't really threaten Gyro. The way Tusk wins the lane is by playing aggressively with ice shards and threatening with snowball or rotation. Gyro's just like, sure, go. Let's fight one-on-one. I've got rocket barrage, and that's it. So you can't do that. And at the same time, of course, he also had help from the Shaker up here quite a bit, and just has a massive advantage on MSS.
It's like a savage, able to steal that haste rune, and it's nothing more for the Doombringer, but he is rapidly approaching level 6.
I'm very surprised they gave him this much space.
The Doombringer?
Yeah, after he got shut down fairly hard early on, I think they could have done a better job than giving him a level 6 at minute 6.
They might have been worried about pressuring the bottom lane, because if they start doing that, then the tier 1 tower could be within deny range. And Newb.Y would then probably rotate to help him, but yeah, the level 6 is here. Now Newb.Y can help him to get kills if they rotate. The Earthshaker, however, is only level 2. And Mara has gotten nothing. He has just sacked himself completely.
Yeah, what I'm thinking rather in this bottom lane is that they should have had an easier time keeping the creep equilibrium at a good position in their lane, so that when Doom tries to go down to devour or push out the lane with Scorched Earth, there's always the threat of Shadow Shaman flanking him with a shackle, and that gives you full damage on Plasma Field.
Middle lane. MR, he's blocked in 1437. The TP's coming in from the Lina, and SC. Well, that slave does pretty much all the work. That might have been a little overkill, but he was worried about the Shallow Grave kicking in. So SC just takes the freebie.
Dire's bottom tower.
And the trade-off is there. There we go.
Dire's bottom tower.
I actually think it's nice for Cloud9 that this tower goes to the Shadow Shaman. It's a hero who benefits a lot from getting early Arcane Boots. Pretty expensive spells. With this, he can start farming with Other Shock in the lane. Work towards probably a Blink Dagger.
They're actually going to give him the space on the top lane too.
I like this a lot too. Get him to level 6. You need to play the pressure game as Cloud9 in this game. I would love to see them get a mech on Razor as the first item. Shadow Fiend just straight into Sanjin Yasha after the Aquila.
We'll give him good timing for their push and their team fight. And they're prioritizing as well these supports so they can get this space. The Wyvern's trying to get up to his Winter's Curse. Because I think Newbie also understands that this Earthshaker has not really become what they want him to be. It was very good they got that gank in mid because he got 2 levels from that, and maybe that'll help him get this kill over on the Razor. Rocket Barrage and Call Down. They still have Black Hand available, and managed to get the stun timing right. There's that Shard. It actually holds them out. Razor stealing more damage. The Earthshaker will end up dying, but SC rotates in. Not enough mana for the Laguna Blade. 1437. The defensive Shallow Grave actually keeps the Gyro there just long enough for Ritsu to rotate and get the kill. So a 2-for-nothing trade as it was Newbee.Y who tried to get aggressive.
Yeah, this is the best start Cloud9 could have hoped for, apart from the Doom getting what he did. I think everything else has been going pretty much according to plan. Tusk is closing in on level 6. Both of their cores have very good farm for minute 9. Shadow Shaman almost level 6, minute 9 as well. And Dazzle with a couple of key graves that have minimized their casualties. Actually, the only hero who has died is himself. So, 9 minutes in against a lineup of this caliber with rotating fissures and... Oh, that sounds extreme, actually. Rotating fissures. Wouldn't that be a spell? Rotating Shaker. Of course, the Lina core is always dangerous in mid. They're doing a pretty good job here.
Bryce comes up to the top lane. That curse will be available once this creep wave goes down. And in fact, the Doombringer starting the battle already. Down on 1437. This Dazzle is dead. There's nothing that will stop this. The question will actually be what happens on top lane as well, because you get the curse off at the same time. MSS in the neighborhood, so we might be able to get the denial, but it's going to be Brax being chased down. Laguna Blade to ensure the kill. And yeah, 1437, he had enough life.
Doom level 1 is actually not that scary of a spell. What makes it scary is when you keep staying next to the target with Scorched Earth for the entire duration, but the TP from MSS stopped him in his tracks. And, well, they did lose Brax top, but it's going to open up for a push mid. There's no way Newbee.Young can defend this.
It's a trade-off time, though. Because they rotate up towards the top lane to get the kill over on the Razor, they take the tier 1 for a tier 1. It's the first time the Mass Serpent wards get dropped, so Newbee.Y will probably accept the fact they would have had to have lost a tower at this point of the game.
But it's still the least important tower on the map for Cloud9. So getting this trade, getting mid tier 1 against the Dire for your offlane tier 1 is an excellent trade-off. Now, I'm very curious to see which way Doom goes here. It looks like he's going for a Midas, so this is not that common right now. Most Dooms go for the Drum Vlads, stacking up of auras, and then often at times we see Shiva's guard.
It might be the result of what happened on the offlane. The fact he just didn't get as much as he really hoped he would.
No, I think he's got as much as he could have hoped, honestly. This 30 CS minute 10 solo offlane against this kind of lane is good enough, really. But he might not be satisfied with how everything else has gone. That they feel like, okay, we have to play greedy and farm and play for mid-late game.
Well, is C9 even going to punish him? Like, you get the Midas up, but is C9 going to be attacking into towers? The Mass Serpent was kind of their way of doing so.
Wait,
but it's still dangerous fighting into Newbee.Y.
They're actually not building mech. I'm really surprised with that in this game, unless they want to get it on MSS's Tusk, which is possible. He is, of course, an off-lane role, so should be able to get it at a decent timing. I feel like right now, if they had a mech, they could really start pressuring some towers.
Fish up MSS.
He can TP out if you want.
He can do so, but now Doombringer's arriving, and he's actually got the got the Mud Golem, but he can't reach him. The range of the stun is decent, but okay, Lee's got himself trapped in the tree line. He brought the creep wave down with him. But we look at another tier 1 tower trade-off. So the bottom tier 1 for the top tier 1.
Serpent wards are up again. They're going to keep going. This is exactly like Cloud9 should be playing the game, in my opinion. They just need a mech to make it even easier for them.
Wyvern's here to slow down the push. That's kind of when Newbee.Y have... Actually, they've got the same amount of power. Like Plasma Field, Razors... Ether Shock, like all these are great wave clearing abilities for Cloud9. And Newbie's got their Splinter Blast, they got Flat Can, they got Fissures, they got Slave. There's a lot to work with. But Newbie's got very aggressive wards placed down here on the bottom part. They're holding on to the Cloud9 jungle. Taking over this area, in fact.
It's kind of goes both ways. The same is happening in the...
Oh, the smoke. Doom. He's standing exactly where he needs to be. MSS smoke breaks, he's just like pinging up, it's like guys, they're up there, and MR as well as Doom getting caught out. He's going to Scorched Earth, that's going to bring the Tusker a long way down into the Rocket Barrage, and the middle of the cooldown, the Shallow Grave will buy the time for MS. But, okay, no, he gets stunned up. No way to TP out in time and make the most out of that Shallow Grave. And the Mass Serpent was defensively placed for the fight. They're now going to get farmed up by Newbee.
Man, you can tell how frustrated Newbee.Young are with this Dazzle. When you Doom Dazzle level 5, it's bothering you.
Are they trying to deny the wards up? Realizing that SC is using the nighttime vision because the wards can't see him, so he attacks in. And the Observe ward gives him the vision advantage, so he wasn't taking any damage from the Mass Serpent
That
wards.
was a clear win for Newbee.Young, though. Even though they do the Dazzle and he doesn't die, they farm all the Serpent wards. They had a hero farming top at the same time. I think that was LE on the Wyvern, getting level 8. Always great having levels in this hero. It's a very strong support with, especially level 8. Level 7 to 8 is when it starts really kicking in with the high-level Splinter Blast, and sometimes you see Arctic Burn Max, sometimes you see Cold Embrace. Both of the spells very, very good.
Newbie.Y really wanting to force the issue here. But they've already taken a decent trade over in the Radiant jungle. Okay, 1437 pops very, very quickly, and they're in very deep. SD's going to need this Yul's up defensively, but he doesn't have time. The control from Tuskar does the work on two fronts, not just from the Walrus Punch on the Lina, but from the Shards holding in the Doombringer.
That was so greedy, going for that. He couldn't Laguna Blade from the river because they didn't have a ward, so he has to have the uphill vision himself. And he was probably thinking, you know what, I'm going to Laguna this guy and then I can just get away with my Yule Scepter or something, but guess what? The entirety of Cloud9 were actually there behind the Dazzle. And they get themselves 2 quick kills on 2 cores.
Now that's big for C9, and even damage into the tier 2 tower in the mid. MR's waiting though, so they won't be able to finish this. With the potential, like, the Fissure stun into a TP call down from the Gyrocopter. It's a little too dangerous to stick around. How are we looking overall? There's really nothing in this game. Both experience and gold is within 500. And there is that smoke you're talking about. Doom is up and running.
This time they don't have a good Roche lineup either, Newbee.Young, so... That was the big problem for Cloud9 last game. This time they have the way superior Roche lineup themselves.
1437. His positioning. Oh, they don't run down south, they run west. They're coming for the tier 1 tower.
Oh, if they could catch Brax here, that's a tower and a kill, probably.
Brax has to show himself, however. The dire observer wars haven't, and now he shows himself on the lane to the range creep. And SC, they're too far away. Now the smoke's gonna break. They get rid of the observer ward.
Gold is a great conductor.
And just back out.
They're just not finding very much right now, it seems.
Well, they're forcing it.
SC.
SC's way too close towards that tower. The Doom is used on Brax. And with Requiem of Souls, Ritsu just keeping Newbie away. But they can come back in again with a Walrus Punch. SC's too far up. He can Laguna Blade, but she's dead already. They're diving so deep for so little.
Newbee.Young seem very unused to playing Doom. Like the way they've played the hero so far with who is dooming, how he's moving in, what he thinks he can get away with and what he thinks he can't.
Maybe they just picked it because they were worried what C9 would do with it. But
yeah, it's obviously a great choice giving away a hero like that if the enemy team doesn't play it too well. It's a little bit reminiscent of when EG cracked the... Oh, wait a second.
They popped both Curse, but the Shards fly in. MS says he's had a blinder of a game this time around, picking up a double kill as he snowballed towards the Wyvern.
Yeah, this is good. Tower's gone.
This is so much momentum. You got an SF who went for the Greed with the Helm of the Dominator, but is already at the point where he's about to complete a Commander style, or they finish an SMY.
Like what I was going to say about this Doom is it's a little bit reminiscent of how EG cracked the C-Deck code at TI5, where they started giving them Leshrac, a hero that was almost banned the entire tournament, and then it turned out, Shiki actually does not play this hero quite as well as Lina. And all of a sudden the trade-off starts becoming really good for you in a draft position, and maybe Cloud9 here. It's a very little sample size, but so far I am definitely not impressed with how they've utilized the Doom for their team. They found one single kill with it in 17 minutes. The lineup they've composed around it hasn't really had much of an effect.
It doesn't seem to fit their playstyle.
Not very much, no.
Because they've been this, we rotate, we find kills, we push towers. But that doesn't exist with this current lineup. Like, it's kills, it's control of teamfight, which is great, but it's not on the same level as C9. Every single time you feel like they're probably going to get the advantage in the teamfight, 1437 is there for a shallow grave, or MSS is there for a long-range control. And Newbie.Y just can't keep up. The Sigil keeps them back, the Shards block the path. And there's a trap still being prepared on bottom lane by the Shaman. The fact on a Shaman you've already got this very early Blink Dagger. He's had this for a couple of minutes already, but it means your supports have the initiation. It's like looking at a line when he gets that early Blink. It means C9 don't have to put their Tuskar, their Razor, or their SF in jeopardy to start the fight.
Honestly, this Doom is food. Now he went Blink. And if he gets this kill, that's nice.
Okay,
he's gonna trade his life away. He can't get away from this.
When he gets the crit, that helps, but MSS... turn around and get the denial. They can't let him have this kill. In fact, there it is.
Well, whatever.
There's the denial, and Brax will...
That's why he didn't snowball.
Yeah.
They went for the whole package deny plus kill. Did you see Brax destroy him there? That was without stolen damage from Static Link. This was Eye of the Storm and attacks.
He did
It
actually
took him
have
5 seconds to kill the dude.
He did have the shards as well. Like they connected, right?
Yeah, a little bit of damage, that's true.
Yeah, he's got nothing. And you got the Pack Wolf Aura too, so he takes away the regen aura. He had the Satyrs in himself before by the Devour. But now with the Pack Wolf Aura before you've actually what looks to be drums, having drums built. Yeah. It's not the Dream Doom.
And the problem is, when you use Scorched Earth, so he has Tranquil Boots, but he took a hit from something. Then when that bonus move speed is gone, Doom doesn't have very high move speed. So when you use Scorched Earth, what generally makes Doom insane is that he just runs, he kites you and just burns you over time. But Razor right now with Sanjin Yasha outruns the Doom while Scorched Earth is on. So it doesn't really help him get away. That's the whole point of the drum build, is that you can, obviously you get the passive, but when you trigger the active, you can outrust heroes. And here we go, Roshan.
The ping just came out from Lina. They understand something's going to be going on, so here comes your Arctic Burn. If you can get that curse off, you can steal Roshan. And where's your curse? Ellie, now he drops it, but Ritsu moved himself far enough away that he would not be affected by it. Finished up Roshan, had the Mass Open Wars behind him to help out. And the Agassi model is in the hands of the SF, and curses on cooldown for 100 seconds.
I feel like Newbee.Young are losing this game a lot harder than Cloud9 lost the last game. They got behind the early game, but then they started split pushing and farming pretty well. This time around, Newbee.Young aren't really finding much of a trade-off. They lost Roshan, they've lost towers, they've lost key kills. They've claimed 1 tier 1 top and 1 tier 1 bottom, and that's it. It's just the nature of their lineup isn't very good at doing this game right now.
You'd almost want to say for C9, even if they don't have first pick, they just don't ban the Doombringer against Newb.Y.
It really depends what the trade is. Of course, getting the Tusk seems to be a very good comfort pick for MSS. I think this is the best performance we've seen out of him in the tournament so far. So that obviously raises its value quite a bit. Oh, he's gonna get doomed.
Yeah, but at the same time, Savage is here, and now Doom gonna get shackled, so he can't escape. SF's rotating over. They've got the Hex, they've got the Shock, and well, they've got that Raid. It's not enough damage, but the Weave, Savage is right behind him. He's got a Shock in 1 second time. Can he get himself in range to get this pick off on the Doombringer? You're going in very deep to chase this, and Savage? Well, does he want to? There's no armor on this Doom whatsoever. The Blink on cooldown for 2 more seconds. Doom can blink himself, and in fact that fissure does give him the space to escape.
Dire's middle tower.
But while this Doom runs away, Ritsu takes out the tier 2 tower in mid.
Yeah, Cloud9 are just bullying them around the map. And it looks like Doom is kind of desperately looking to find some sort of engagement since his supports haven't really been able to open up that many kills. The Shaker, once again from MR, has done what he can, I feel. He's found 4 kills out of the 5 for the team, but haven't really seen the Wyvern much. The Gyro's calldowns haven't had that big of an impact either, and Lina, after a pretty explosive start, has just really slowed down. And now Cloud9 can play their split push game without being behind.
Yeah.
And they can also 5-man.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if the split push is even required. You've taken all the added towers in 22 minutes. Your Mass Open wards are off cooldown. Yeah, they're only level 1. But with that, and the amount of life on this SF, like he's on his way to the Skadi already, after having the Manta and an Aegis Immortal behind him. We mentioned before that Newb.Y are really not that great at pushing down towers, so trade-off-wise, you should be winning out here. So much initiation. Even the Assault Cuirass. It's a recipe away for Brax to have AC.
Really farmed.
And the SF still has more farm than him. The Razor is big, but the SF is bigger. And Newb.Y looks like they might be going into a 3rd game here. If this continues the way it currently is, like Cloud9 need to make a huge mistake. They need to fight Newb.Y in a really unfavorable position. And maybe that's why C9 are waiting this out, because they don't want to push up, because that gives the opportunity to Newbie.
There's a lot of risk with high ground against a team that has Fissure, Calldown, and Winter's Curse. It's not easy, but at the same time, if you look at the composition of Newbee.Young, they don't also feel a necessity to end the game that early. Their core scale pretty well. They can wait until they have really good tank items and then play from there. And maybe Newbee.Young are going to show themselves and give them an opportunity.
Get out of there, Savage. Wyvern flew straight past him, but he still remains in the tree line. Doesn't know there's extra support, and in fact, okay, yeah, there's a courier coming out with an Observer Ward. The scouts at the fact that Newbie is here. Brax also hiding in the tree line. The push from 1437 on the top lane might force Newbie's hand. In fact, yeah, already SC is TPing himself back to base. 30 gold away from having his full ags.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Wonder
under
what he's
attack.
going for on 1437 here. He has quite a bit of gold.
It's like a good solo crest game.
It's a good crest game. They still don't have a mech. The Tusk went for a blink. Glimmer Cape, also good. Against all the spell burst. Of course, Lina will be getting an Ag Scepter right now, actually. But it still
Dire's
blocks out a lot of other stuff. Shaker, Gyro Call Down, Rocket Barrage, all of other Lina spells. Like right now, the vast majority of Newbee.Young's damage is magical. There's no physical damage threat that's that significant. Weave is more than enough with AC, for sure.
At the same time, then, if you build up, like, with Weave and AC, it's already great. If you add Evasion to the mix as well, then Newbee.Y, once they pop their initial magical damage, there's nothing left. Like, they're just dry in the tank.
And it looks like Shadowfiend is going for a Scotty for that reason. Just tank up on a single target so they can breach high ground. I think it's the way to go. Newbee is all about the spread damage apart from Lina. Lina has single target and that's it.
And who does she even target during the fight? Like, who do you try and bring down at this point? Is Ritsu a worthy target? Can you bring him down? It's like looking at a Wraith King being initiated on. You attack, but you know he's got reincarnation. So will it be enough?
Well, for now it is. But in 10 minutes, if they just keep farming their Shadowfiend, I don't know. Well, I don't even know if it's enough now. Shadowfiend has 27 armor, and you could put a crest on him. Then he has 37 weave. Then he has 250, and then grave. Then he has infinite. It's pretty good. He doesn't actually have infinite token.
Lee is waiting on the bottom.
No response to that. It's gonna shut me out. Okay.
I saw what you did to OD.
It's good.
I'm not falling for the same Cinder and
then you
Trap.
could have just played it immediately. Just been like, I'm not OD, and you would have gone for a little bit of a shot as well. That would have been good. Oh, you still pulled it off a little bit later. This wasn't the exact same impact. Let's see what Cloud9 are up to. Looks like they might want to try bottom. I don't.
SC.
Oh,
that was close.
Good blink from Savage.
And
Wow.
that was just on the tip.
That was very, very close. But Cloud9 just keep the farming up. Once again, they spread out the map very nicely. They keep farming the enemy team's Ancients, which is also great, of course, here. And the pings come out here from the Shaker. I think he's starting to get a little bit frustrated. It's like,
I'm not surprised.
can't we just fight? And the answer is no.
I got a blink dagger. I'm good to go.
We actually can.
They can be really angry as well. This dire sentry ward they've planted down. Like, it doesn't scout out the observe ward that's up. So even when they move into their own jungle, they get scouted. They can't go to the Ancients because there's so many of Cloud9 players down there. If they want to go into the Radiant jungle, which we kind of have to remember when Newbee.Y took out the tower, the first two wards they planted down were aggressively in the Radiant jungle. That's what they wanted to do. They want to keep C9 on C9 side of the map. Take out the tier 1 tower, and then just keep the pressure on. Take Roshan, take another tower, then take a fight. That was the plan. And the plan is just completely unraveled. And it doesn't even look like they've got, like what's the play? You have Doombringer hiding in a tree line waiting for an initiation? Like, that was their hope previously. But even 1437, he's got no help in the mid lane. But he still is confident just to walk almost up to the creep wave, push it, and then walk back. Doesn't even care. Newbee.Y is not going to initiate on him. Not for a dazzle.
Newbie are looking for the bottom tier too, but a dazzle TP is going to scare them away. That's not a good sign.
The intimidating dazzle. What do you want to do? Commit your Laguna Blade to kill him off? It's a low cooldown. Should be fair enough.
Why not? Just grab the gold. Right now, anything for Newbie, really, it's not just about the impact it has in the game. It's also about them feeling like they're accomplishing something. Games can pretty quickly get a bit frustrating if it just seems like you're running after people and you never catch, and you have a lineup that's built to try to find some kills. Yeah, they've got to feel like they're losing this game. If they think it's going all right, then it's a pretty poor read on the situation.
The pings are coming from C9. They're looking over towards Roshan. He's not up just yet. And looks like we got ourselves a dominated creep having a bit of a peek. That one belonging to the SF. In fact, he's going up even further. Looking to see where Newbee.Y are moving. There's top lane where Savage is just playing the Woodman. hiding in the trees. And you can see Newbie, like they try to prep the trap. There's that observer ward hillside, a little bit more obvious to see on the top. But trying to scout out C9, playing like silly little devils inside the tree line.
They're just, look at C9, they're cycling them around the map. They're basically making them run in circles, looking to push out the waves a little bit. The difference is it's Cloud9 clearing the Ancients every single time. And they're also farming their entire jungle with Razor, at least the 3 camps to the right, because he's very, very good at it with Plasma Field. So economic advantage being built every single minute for Cloud9. Roshan should be up very soon as well. We've got Savage scouting that one out. At this rate, if this continues, it might become a pretty long game, but it's super predictable that Cloud9 should come out on top unless they really throw it away, because Newbie aren't... When was their last kill? Let's look. Newbie's last kill was minute 13. They've gone 15 minutes without a dot on the net worth graph. They haven't taken a tower either. It's just out farm.
It's not for the one of trying, it's just the fact that Cloud9, like, look at him. Like, there's 1437. You commit Echo Slam to make sure. There we go. 1 dot now added on the map. But you've just burnt your Echo Slam. Roshan spawned up. The mass open wards are already down. So, C9. Okay, it's going to be a tier 2 tower in the top lane for an Aegis the Immortal. The fortification's slowing down Newbee.Y, but they'll still finish the job in time.
This is okay for Newbie. They got something. Like, that's
true.
That's the important thing, is that they feel like something's happened, because I don't think they could have contested this Roche very easily either. If they get a fantastic combo, maybe, but...
What's about to come, though, is not going to be okay. Like, while their Echo Slam is down, they've got a 2-minute window here, Cloud9. When they've got the Aegis Immortal ready, the Satanic can now be fully bought by the Shadow Fiend. So you've got the double life on the back of Ritsu.
He can't die.
Yeah, they can just force high ground with the SF on the front lines.
He actually can't. I don't know how they're going to kill this guy twice. He has 3,000 health. Satanic activated, or activatable, rather, if he's not doomed.
To kill him the first time, you basically got to Echo Slam Laguna with, like... Oh, that's too much.
I don't know what they're going to do about this, actually. I think this is enough for Cloud9 to take a lane of Rax. If they just send him in, they even have Glimmer Cape, so if they go for the initiation when he has Weave on, against all odds, you can also just add a Glimmer, and he takes, like, no damage. He will have a physical mitigation of, like, 60 to 70%.
Savage.
Oh, that's a pick.
Yeah, it is. A little too overconfident. SC just walked himself up inside that Shadow Blade. A good item to finally get these picks. Catch C9 out of position so they can't just get thrown across the map too obviously, coming underneath these observer wards of C9, which are starting to appear everywhere.
Angelina is making progress. I wonder if she wants to turn this... There's no benefit to a Silver Edge, really. You can remove Unstable Current. I think it works on that. I do still believe there are some passives that actually don't get countered out by the Silver Edge for Dota 2 reasons. Or Dota in general reasons, rather. But it's not good enough here.
Yeah.
Even if it blocks Unstable Current, it's not really that great. It's just looking for it for the pickoffs here with the Shadow Blade, but...
SC needs to be the damage dealer as well.
Cloud9, 3,000 health, Shadow Fiend with 34 armor before Weave. It's a Glimmer Cape on backup, and Aegis, and he's playing against a team that doesn't have single target damage apart from Laguna Blade. Good luck.
He's just so big, and now they find the Gyrocopter. Blink, Hex, they need that Fissure, and Gyro, can he get back out? No, he can't. The Walrus Punch sending him up. The Cold Embrace will buy a little bit more time. Maybe they can get the cooldown off. No, they can't. He'll have to buy back into this fight. MSS, he'll cop that Aghanim's Laguna Blade, and with the Curse, they isolate the Tasker, but the Requiem of Souls, there's no way Newbie can get close enough to inflict any level of damage onto Cloud9, and it's still Ritsu with the Aegis, the Immortal
60 armor. Okay, now he dropped the Weave.
It's at a point where it doesn't even matter. It's so high. The Flag Cannon won't do any work. Your mid-tier 3 tower is lost. You're bought back on the Gyro. You cannot afford to lose him again. And this SF just stands his ground. They'll take the range, and they'll move on to the melee.
I think we can just keep going.
Well, the Weave just started again, so watch the armor tick back up. Over on both the Razor as well as the SF, the front liners.
Top lane is pushing in nicely. That should be the next target for Cloud9. They have Requiem on cooldown and Shaman Wards. If they want, they can play it safe, but I don't think there's anything stopping them. They realized, okay, we crushed them that fight without even getting close to losing our Aegis.
And they've still got another 1 minute and 45 seconds left on that Aegis, so the time is there for Cloud9. to take their time, be patient. Mass Open wards in 42 seconds. Almost the Ags up for Savage. It's the dream situation for C9, and after game number 1, they really needed something like this. They needed something to lift their spirits. And Newbee.Y to get a reality check. Yeah, you definitely put Secret on the edge. But this isn't Newbee at all. This isn't their team play.
Am I gonna go on Ritsu? That's the Glimmer Cape.
Still visible underneath the tower, but Resistance, now the cooldown's going to go to work.
Oh,
Snowball protection actually dodges Laguna Blade. Razor might be doomed up, but there's so much life in him, he'll tank through it all. So the Doom's on the sideline, the Wyvern has to embrace himself, the Mass Open wants to back off cooldown, and a wonderful position in range of the tower, but more importantly, very close to that melee Rax.
That was sick from MSS. I'm not sure if he intended for it to dodge the Laguna like it did. It deals such damage after a quarter of a second, so you have a little interval.
He might have been dodging the cooldown.
Even just seeing the opportunity to blink in and snowball the SF out toward the bottom left was a really nice play there.
Savage, the shock. Earthshaker can't do anything against this. The range Rax will be taken fairly comfortably. That ulti's off cooldown for the Razor in 15 seconds time. With the Ags upgrade, he's got a lot to work with. Laguna Blade, however, off cooldown 3 seconds time. So C9 pulling back at just the right moment, but MR jumps forward. Savage turns around, they get the Walrus Punch. SC, who do you want? The Snowball comes forward, keeping Gyrocopter isolated, but they still haven't really found a target. In fact, you've just lost your Gyrocopter. You've just lost everything. You've lost the game. GG is the call. Cloud9, patience was a virtue they showed. Really stable lanes, and Newbee.Y not capitalizing on a lot of the advantage that they did have. That Doombringer. I'd love to see what the panel say about that, because it just didn't seem to fit.
Now the question is if it was the individual player or just the lineup and the team not being able to play around it. I personally think he did not play a good game himself, but I also don't think his team allowed him to play a good game. They sacrificed him in the offlane. They didn't really seem to try to use Doom together. It was all